MeMonster.
Chapter 306. I hid behind the car and sent a command to Spartan. He quickly appeared in the sky, looking down at us. Whoosh! At that moment, another arrow flew toward us, targeting the car's tire. Aether tried to protect it, but the tire wasn't strong to begin with. Even with Aether's help, it couldn't withstand the attack. Quang! The tire popped like a balloon as Spartan shared his field of vision with me. I could see the enemy about 5 kilometers to the east. At first, it was hard to spot him through Spartan's eyes, but his location became clear when he shot an arrow at Spartan. Dwam! Spartan flapped his wings and dodged the attack, but the arrow quickly turned and chased after him. The fiercely flying arrow was faster than Spartan. At this rate, Spartan would die as well. Spartan's wing has been injured. He is unable to use his authority. I bit my lip. Returning to my normal field of vision, I looked around. We were attacked on the outskirts of the lawless zone. Although a few pubs and inns were nearby, fights were commonplace here. Even if I asked for help, it was unlikely anyone would listen. Tsk. The only thing protecting me was a sedan enveloped in aether. I was running out of time. I doubted the sedan could withstand the enemy's terrifying arrows much longer. With no other choice, I took out Temujin's bow blessed by Horus and Athena's moonlight arrow. I didn't hesitate. To save Yu Yanha and myself, I had to act. The moment I grabbed the arrow, Master Sharpshooter's senses heightened. I looked east. My vision stretched out until it reached my target 5 kilometers away. I finally caught a glimpse of the sharpshooter who attacked us. It was a woman, holding a black bow. Her dark eyes seemed to be staring directly at me. No, she was definitely staring at me. Our eyes met from 5 kilometers away. Keek. The enemy pulled her bowstring. For some reason, I felt like I knew her. Blue hair flowed over her black leather armor. Slightly tanned skin and fair features. The sharpshooter looked just like the person I imagined while writing. Lireje. That should be her name. She was one of the 10 devils I thought of using for the final part of the story. Lireje the Green Devil. As her title suggested, green was her symbolic color. But her background was that she hated green so much she dyed her hair blue. Lireje held more moderate views among the devils, and by the looks of it, she still seems to be staying in her incarnation body. Still, she was the sole archer among devils. She was not an opponent I could deal with easily. Why was the 14th ranked devil here? I was annoyed by the sudden turn of events, but I knew complaining wouldn't help. I took a deep breath and knocked Athena's moonlight arrow onto my bow. Then I poured everything I had into it. Stigma's magic power, random consolidation system, constraints, and amplifications. A terrifying magic power descended on the moonlight arrow, and brilliant rays of light stretched out in all directions. The moonlight's holy power enveloped the earth and sky. I aimed the cluster of light at the devil and pulled the bowstring tight. But due to Lireje's strange reaction, I didn't fire. Duh! She put her bow down and stared at me. Her gaze held no hostility or killing intent. Her expressionless face only showed her cold beauty. After staring at me for a long time, Lireje muttered, "Duh, my name." A fleeting voice came from her lips. Next, Lireje suddenly put away her bow and arrows. I couldn't understand what brought on the sudden change, but it was clear she no longer wanted to attack. So I put my bow down as well. In that instant, Lireje's form disappeared like a mirage. What? Did my arrow scare her away? No, I doubt that's the case. No matter the reason, the current situation was better for me. Not only did I conserve my strength, but I also didn't have to risk my life fighting her. A huge luck erupted. A single word pays back a debt of thousands of gold. Your thoughtless mumbling saved your life. The great-ranked 14th devil Lireje takes interest in the human who recognized her name. Information regarding Lireje has been added to your gift observation and reading. You obtain 333 SP. Narrow escape from death, 7 out of 9. Special stat, accumulation of luck becomes partly unlocked. Narrow escape from death popped up once again. That was luck too? I exclaimed in surprise, then remembered someone. Ah! I quickly ran to the side of the sedan and opened the door. Yu Yanha was sitting in the corner, her face pale and her body trembling. The inside of the car looked different than before. The remnants of Lycrosis's corpse were gone, and a hot current of electricity crackled inside. Yu Yanha had burned Lycrosis's blood, flesh, and bones into nothingness. North Pandemonium. Undeveloped area. In the Russian land north of Pandemonium, a temple no human knew about existed. Monsters swarmed the area, and the temple was shrouded by tall coniferous forest. Inside this dark temple, countless jinns and demons gathered to worship the rank 14th devil. She should be fine on her own, right? The jinn assigned to this temple, Destruction, said worriedly. In front of him were many jinns and a few demons waiting for their lord to return. The outside world is dangerous. We know what happened to Plucus. Destruction was always interested in the descent of the devil he served. When signs of demon realm transformation appeared, he helped the descent of the rank 14th devil more carefully than any other jinn. Destruction took care so that no one would find out about his lord's descent. He knew very well what happened to rank 50 devil Plucus, whose existence was revealed to the world. Don't worry, Lord Lareje is a noble who is among the strongest in the demon realm. But the devil's henchmen seemed carefree. Court, the most human-looking servant among the demons, smiled. Lord Lareje isn't someone a mere human can injure. At that moment, Lareje returned to the temple. Her ability allowed her to change the composition of her body freely. She took the form of wind and quickly arrived at her throne. The servants waiting for her all bowed with respect. But Court noticed something. Lareje didn't have the dimensional entropy in her hands. That was the object she had left to obtain personally. At that moment, Court's gaze met Lareje's. Court flinched, while Lareje simply gave a command. Dwah! Rise. Her command wasn't in the form of words. She projected letters using Earth technology, a smartwatch. This was a small constraint placed on Lareje. She had to expend her life force every time she spoke, so she used this smartwatch given by Destruction to express her thoughts. Dwah! I didn't bring the object you talked about. Court and Destruction stared at the words appearing in the air. Dwah! There was a mysterious human who knew my name. With that, Lareje leaned against her throne. Her youthful look and soft figure shone seductively. Corte was displeased. Dimensional entropy was an important item in the descent of a devil, yet Lorraine had given up because she took interest in a mere human. Lord, you are a nobleman renowned across the demon realm. It isn't strange for tales of your strength to have spread to Earth. So how can it be strange for... Lorraine furrowed her brows and cut him off. Humans don't know me. This isn't the demon realm. Tadadak. Lorraine typed on the holographic keyboard as she looked around. He even knew my name. Is that so? Of course, I don't lie. Next, Lorraine yawned. As her descent wasn't fully complete, she slept often. I'm sleepy. Wake me up if those old devils contact us. Look into the human who recognized me too. He really was quite interesting. With 4 final messages, Lorraine fell asleep. Corte stared at Lorraine's sleeping figure and then faced Destruction. Destruction. Yes, Lord? Look into this human Lord Lorraine has taken interest in. You'll also have to bring back the dimensional entropy. Destruction widened his eyes in surprise, then smiled deeply. This was exactly what he wanted to do. From what he recently learned, the human who took the dimensional entropy was none other than the daughter of Yu Jin-ung. Understood. Leave it to me. Destruction replied and laughed happily. From Central Asia, I threw the car away. It could be repaired, but it was already too tattered, and in its current state, it was at huge risk of being attacked again. I summoned San Nuri, who I had turned into a card, and ran with Yu Yanha. San Nuri was burdened by the dimensional entropy I was carrying, but she was still as quick as ever. Click, clack. As San Nuri sped forward, I checked Yu Yanha's condition.
She was trembling, her body freezing and her breathing labored. Like a bird drenched in rain, her frail body was devoid of strength. Yu Yanha needed time to rest. I saw a natural cave surrounded by greenery with my 1,000-mile eyes and led San-Nuri to it. "Get down." Yu Yanha got down from San-Nuri's back without a word. She staggered but didn't fall. She sat against the cave wall pretending to be fine and stared at me. I took this moment to message Jin Seiyun. "Jin Seiyun-shi, are you okay?" Don't. Static rang out a few times before she replied. "Yes, we managed to survive. The car broke down, but we escaped. Where are you now?" As expected, a master rank hero wasn't so easily killed. It seemed she even managed to protect Jin Sei-chan. "I'll send you the coordinates. Tell me if you're too far." I sent them our current location. After a brief silence, a troubled voice replied, "Yes, we're far. Perhaps 2 days on foot. We went in different directions after all." "Then send me your location. I'll pick you up." "Pick me up?" I looked at San-Nuri. She immediately understood my intention and snorted unhappily. "Yes, I have a horse with me. She's incredibly smart, beautiful, and kind." San-Nuri's expression brightened. Jin Seiyun's confused voice rang out. "A horse?" "Yes. Anyway, send me your coordinates first." "Ah, yes." Soon, my smartwatch beeped, and I showed Jin Seiyun's location to San-Nuri. San-Nuri stared at the coordinate for about 10 seconds before neighing with a nod. She seemed to be in a good mood. "It's pretty far, huh? You can run as much as you want." "Yep, you don't have to carry anyone on your way there, so run as quickly as you want. If you run into any monsters or demons, feel free to kill them all." San-Nuri cried cheerfully before immediately bolting out of the cave. Whoosh! She was as quick as lightning. Black soot flickered above the ground she passed. I chuckled and sat down as well. It was then that I noticed Yu Yanha staring at me from the side. Her face was pale, like a patient on the brink of fainting. I met her gaze, then smirked. "Are you okay?" Yu Yanha nodded. Did she lose her ability to speak? She hadn't said a word since she got on San-Nuri. To lighten the mood and make her talk, I said mischievously, "You look like you're going to die soon." But Yu Yanha didn't say a word. She only stared at me. Then, after a long time, she gulped and said simply, "I saw it." "What saw?" I asked nonchalantly. "Your bow, your arrow, and the huge undulation of magic power you aimed at the enemy." At that moment, a gust of wind blew through the cave. The wind made a strange humming sound echo off the walls, and I couldn't hear Yu Yanha properly because of it. "You saw?" "Yes," she nodded resolutely. "Your bow, your arrow, and the huge undulation of magic power you aimed at the enemy." Thinking about it now, I was the idiot for not even suspecting it. Even when we were in Cube, your skill with the bow was amazing. I still remember the curve shot you showed during the festival. I didn't say anything, just scratched my head. I was hoping she was panicking too much to have noticed, but it seemed that wasn't the case. Yu Yanha let out a low sigh. "You're willing to go that far to take revenge on the chameleon troupe?" My mind went blank. It felt like my brain stopped functioning for a moment. I had no choice but to remain silent, and Yu Yanha continued. "You're willing to dirty your hands and hurt yourself to—" Yu Yanha paused and looked at me. Her gaze was filled with sympathy and pity. I didn't understand where they were coming from. The only reaction I could give was, "What?" was to tilt my head. Chapter 307. Blood covered her entire body, mixed with gooey flesh and hard pieces of skull. Cranial fluid splashed into her eyes, and brain matter flew into her mouth. The incident from a couple of hours ago replayed in Yu Yanha's mind. Chua! An arrow had flown into the car before anyone realized what was happening. The driver's head exploded like a balloon. The sickening stench, the sticky texture, the blood and flesh, she felt disgusted by it all. Even after emptying her stomach, she still felt sick. Death clung to her like a leech, and she couldn't shake it off. After tossing and turning in her nightmare, Yu-Yunha's eyes opened. Darkness filled her view, and she was drenched in sweat. Yu-Yunha staggered to her feet, barely managing to stay upright by holding on to the cave wall. She threw up again. Ugh! Exhausted, Yu-Yunha leaned against the wall and slid to the ground. What happened today had left her traumatized. Death was far more horrific up close than she had ever imagined. She thought she would be indifferent, that she had become tough. Yet, is it because I've stayed away from real battles for too long? Or am I just too young? Yu-Yunha clenched her teeth, blaming herself. She remembered Likros. She had personally selected him as an agent of Falling Blossom. The brave Mexican who volunteered to be a spy was also a husband and a father of 2. But today he disappeared without a trace. Yu-Yunha was the one who burned his body. I'm sorry. Her selfishness had led to his death. Deep in sorrow, Yu-Yunha vowed to always remember him and to help his family however she could. She wiped her tears and looked around. Kim Hajin was nowhere to be seen, even though she remembered he was by her side when she fell asleep. Where did he go? Fear struck her, and she instinctively turned on her smartwatch. The number you have cannot be reached at this time. But her broken smartwatch still didn't work. With no other choice, Yu-Yunha walked to the mouth of the cave. She didn't want to be alone inside. With a whip in hand, Yu-Yunha cautiously approached the cave's exit, then let out a sigh of relief. Kim Ha-jin was sitting by the entrance. He must have been standing guard but had fallen asleep. Yu-Yunha put the whip down with a small smile and slunk towards Kim Ha-jin. Seeing him asleep made her remember the horrific dream again. In it, Kim Ha-jin was holding Black Lotus's bow and arrows. You poor thing, she muttered softly. How much weight was he carrying? Yu-Yunha couldn't even imagine the pain and pressure he had to bear. Although Kim Ha-jin refused to talk about it, she was sure he had joined the chameleon troupe to seek revenge. He had walked into the monster's mouth to earn its trust and bring it down, even if it meant dirtying his own hands. Who fights with monsters must take care, lest he thereby becomes a monster himself. If you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss gazes back into you. Yu-Yunha recalled the famous quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. It made her heart heavier. Slowly, she reached out and smoothed Kim Ha-jin's ruffled hair. He looked like a child in his sleep, which made him seem even more pitiful. A person can't bear that much weight alone. You can ask your friends for help, so why won't you take it? Yu-Yunha sat next to Kim Ha-jin in silence. Was it because of the warmth from his clothes? The ground and air around him felt warm. The warmth made her sleepy again. This time she was sure she wouldn't have a nightmare. Yu-Yunha slowly dozed off, slouching and leaning against Kim Ha-jin's shoulder. His firm shoulder became her pillow, a gateway to a pleasant dream. 5 minutes later, the moon shone into the cave, filling it with silence and a gentle breeze. Under the dim moonlight, Kim Ha-jin was wide awake. He stared at Yu-Yunha, who was leaning against his shoulder. Why does he always misunderstand things? He grumbled, but he couldn't deny that her sleeping face was quite adorable. He covered Yu-Yunha with a blanket made from aether. Wrapped in warmth, she sank into a deep sleep. Away from nightmares, she smiled. A new day dawned and the morning sun rose. San-Nuri brought Jin-Se-yun and Jin-Se-chun back. Judging by their appearances, I could only imagine the hardships they had faced since we parted yesterday. We celebrated our reunion with a simple hug. We were ambushed by an archer. We managed to escape, but our car was destroyed and we were chased by Jins. You too? I learned something new. I wasn't the only one attacked by Laraje. She had attacked both me and Jin Se-yun at the same time. She was truly impressive. Anyway, united once again, we began our strategy meeting. Our goal was to return safely. We knew we couldn't rely on the association for reinforcements. Fortunately, we had our own means of transportation, San-Nuri. The conclusion of the meeting was already decided. However, San-Nuri hated being around the dimensional entropy. So I cut down trees and sharpened stones to make a carriage. Thankfully, San-Nuri didn't mind pulling it. Hop inside. I led the others to the carriage I made. I'd only spent 3 hours on it, but it was sturdy and spacious enough for 4 people, all thanks to young dwarf's dexterity. It's surprisingly cozy in here. I agree. Yu Yanha and Jin Se-yun exclaimed in surprise, but I still had more to show. I put my hand on the carriage and activated Random Consolidation System. The number 60 appeared on the carriage. Soon the carriage became bigger, lighter, and better designed. The concept of carriage was enhanced by exactly 60%. The inside was now big enough for 4 people to lie down. Enchant. I muttered the keywords. Immediately, stigma seeped into the carriage, blending it with the surroundings. This enchantment was for concealment. Let's go. I climbed into the carriage. The others stared at me in awe before climbing in as well. Once everyone was on board, San-Nuri started moving. I stared outside, preparing for a possible ambush. I'm glad you chose you to be my bodyguard. I simply smiled at Yu Yonha's compliment. I still felt a bit awkward around her because of her misunderstanding from the day before. San-Nuri raced across the grasslands of Central Asia at about 400 kilometers per hour. The view outside changed just as quickly. Our destination was Pyongan Island in Korea. At this speed, we should arrive in 2 days. I suddenly recalled the cold yet beautiful voice. My name. That was what Leraje had muttered as she stared at me. I looked at the information I got through Narrow Escape from Death. Leraje. Current power 9.3, potential 9.85. Rank 14 Devil. Invasion alignment neutral and moderate. Has taken an interest in you. Likes archers like herself. Loves board games such as chess. Some of these were settings I came up with, and some weren't. I carefully went over the list. It was then.
Sorry, I turned my smartwatch off during training. I just saw your text. Suddenly, I received a message from Chae Ne-yoon. Seoul, Korea, Hero Plaza. Jin Sayak returned to Seoul. No one was by her side. She was visiting the Hero Plaza alone. The Hero Plaza was a large domed stadium in the heart of Seoul. It was used by heroes for ranking battles or grade promotion battles. Currently, the stadium, which could hold 60,000 people, was filled with heroes, their managers, and reporters. We'll now start the second preliminary round for the Gate of Glory. Only the winners of this tournament would be allowed to enter the Gate of Glory, formerly called the Demon Realm Gate. The association avoided mentioning the horrors and deaths that awaited beyond the gate, only publicizing the wealth and fame. It was a very association-like way of handling things. A total of 10,000 candidates currently remain in the race. Today, 1,000 of the 10,000 will be hand-picked by the judges, and 500 of those will advance to the next round. Jin Sayak looked down at the stadium filled with hopeful heroes. Among the candidates were Kim Suho, Shin Jong-hak, Bell, and Rumi. The task for the second round was to complete a maze. 2 heroes were paired at random, and the pair had to get through a gigantic maze built in the basement of the stadium. Jin Sayak let out a deep sigh. The cause of her concern wasn't the maze itself, but something else. I don't understand. With another sigh, she took out a magnifying glass from her pocket. The glass was shattered, leaving only the frame. But she still remembered the words that had appeared on it. Those words represented Kim Hajin's true feelings.
She waved the frame from side to side as she recalled Kim Hajin's emotions. Pity. The first was pity. If that was all, she would have simply been mad that he pitied her. However, sympathy. Mild animosity. Next were sympathy and animosity. The two seemed to contradict each other, but those weren't too confusing. What truly baffled her were the countless words that suddenly filled her view afterward. They overflowed and shattered the magnifying glass. They instilled chaos in Jin Sayak's heart. Emotions that will be synchronized when the synchronization rate increases, currently 15%. Loyalty, faith, reason for living, happiness, sense of guilt for not being able to help, desire to be together, desire to protect. She couldn't understand the source of the emotions that filled the magnifying glass, and she was even more clueless about the word synchronization. What in the world is synchronization? What happens when it increases? And how do I increase it? Jin Sayak was completely confused. She sighed and looked below. As she glanced over the arena filled with heroes, she met a man's eyes. He had a handsome face and brown hair. It was Kim Suho. The moment their eyes met, Kim Suho's face stiffened. He hurried to the stairs. Tong tong. The hollow sound of iron stairs echoed. Kim Suho reached the end of the staircase in no time and stood next to Jin Sayak. "Are you here as a candidate?" Jin Sayak nodded. "I don't want to miss out on the fun. Isn't it obvious, idiot?" Despite her insult, Kim Suho only smiled. "You should stop here if you're planning on doing anything rash inside. You know this is important." Jin Sayak's face twisted into a frown. "Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to order me around?" Kim Suho looked at Jin Sayak in silence. Jin Sayak glared back. For a minute, they only stared at each other. Suddenly, Kim Suho smiled and remarked playfully, "Or else, I'll tell Hajin." "What did you say?" Jin Sayak's face stiffened. So I guess you don't want Hajin to get mad at you." "I dare you to say that again, you bastard!" Jin Sayak was angry. No, not angry. She was flustered. Did Kim Hajin tell Kim Suho? Does he know about the things on the magnifying glass? "I'm just kidding." Kim Suho shook his head, but Jin Sayak was still suspicious. She glared at Kim Suho with fire in her eyes. Unfortunately, she had run out of time to interrogate him. "Next up is the candidate you've all been waiting for, Swordsman of Wish, Kim Suho. He turned down a special offer from the association and chose to participate in the preliminary rounds. Kim Suho will participate in this mission with intermediate rank hero Yi Yin." The host announced Kim Suho's turn. "I have to go now. Try not to cause a commotion, okay?" Kim Suho gave a small smile and left. Jin Sayak continued to glare at him. It was then Jin Sayak noticed someone else staring at her. It was Chae Naeun. The mere sight of her annoyed her. But the moment their eyes met, Jin Sayak remembered something Belle had said in the past. "Aren't you curious about the relationship between Chae Naeun and Kim Hajin? I assure you it's much more scandalous than you think." Maybe the whole synchronization thing was somehow related to this. Yes, Belle was an asshole, but he was a truthful asshole. When her thoughts reached that point, Jin Sayak glared at Chae Naeun and activated reality manipulation. Jin Sayak's magic power slipped into reality and altered it ever so slightly. Now, the next team would be Chae Naeun and Jin Sayak.
Chapter 308. Jin Seyon looked out the carriage window. The steppes of Central Asia looked nothing like the pictures in textbooks. Weeds grew knee-high, trees stretched toward the sky, and small Jin villages dotted the landscape. It feels like I'm in a fantasy world, Jin Se-yeon muttered, dazed. Jin Se-chan glanced out as well, but his ordinary eyesight couldn't match Jin Se-yeon's. He soon turned his gaze back to Yu Yun-ha. Yu Yun-ha sat quietly, staring at the selenium case in her arms, lost in thought. Jin Se-chan worried about her, but said nothing. As her secretary, he felt his only role was to watch from the sidelines. "Are you okay?" Jin Se-yeon asked, voicing what Jin Se-chan could not. She smiled at him, then moved to sit beside Yu Yun-ha. Yu Yun-ha glanced at Jin Se-yeon and nodded. "I'm fine. Don't keep that case too close to your body. It can have bad effects. If you want, it's not too late to call the demon merchants." Yu Yun-ha smiled bitterly. They had already considered calling demon merchants, who would do anything for the right amount of DP. But she didn't trust them. There was no guarantee they wouldn't want something that other demons desperately sought. She sighed and looked at the case holding the dimensional entropy. "Is that item really that important?" Jin Se-yeon asked. Yu Yun-ha nodded without hesitation. "Yes, I know from the skills I obtained in the Tower of Wish. Basic skill level 9 Law of Thoughts, which amplifies my thinking speed and strength, and special skill level 9 Appraisalize, which lets me appraise any item in my field of vision." She was still analyzing dimensional entropy in her mind. Essential Dynamics was also the best in the world at extracting magic power from crystals and mana stones. "This item can save countless lives." Jin Se-yeon looked at her for a moment, then smiled. "I hope so too." Yu Yun-ha returned a weak smile. Nearby, Kim Hajin watched the two, puzzled. As far as he knew, there shouldn't be any connection between them. When did they become so close, like sisters? "How did you two get so close?" Kim Hajin finally asked, unable to hold back his curiosity. Yu Yun-ha and Jin Se-yeon glanced at him, but leaned back in their seats without answering. "What the?" Kim Hajin pouted, furrowing his brows. Yu Yun-ha found this side of him cute. "I'll tell you later." "Ch." Kim Hajin nodded, dissatisfied. Suddenly, his eyes widened as he scanned the air. "Where are you? I'm taking the test for the Gate of Glory." Chae Na-yin had messaged him. Kim Hajin smiled and shook his head. "I can't tell you that." "What? Why not? Actually, that's probably for the best." "Huh?" Chae Na-yin gave up surprisingly quickly. Kim Hajin tilted his head. "I don't think I could talk if you were in front of me. I'm not ready yet. You know what I mean." "Shh." Kim Hajin smirked. "Yeah, I guess it's still a bit awkward. So?" "Right, so I was thinking we could just talk a couple of times a day like this, to get used to talking to each other. We can also play games. Did you know there's a new version of Gladiator of the Century?" "No." "Download it. It's popular among heroes for image training. They added a bunch of skills, so it's super popular. Tournaments get over 900,000 viewers." As expected of a gamer, Chae Na-yin started talking about recent news. Kim Hajin just listened with a smile, while Jin Se-yeon and Yu Yun-ha stared at him like he'd lost his mind. "Ah, wait, the heck, I'm paired up with Jin Se-hyuk." "What? Jin Se-hyuk?" "Yeah, I'm hanging up for now." As soon as Chae Na-yin ended the call, Yu Yun-ha asked, "What are you doing by yourself?" At that moment, Kim Ha-jin's expression stiffened. Jin Se-yeon's did too. With their supernatural perception, both sensed someone's gaze from afar. An outsider was watching them. Kim Ha-jin and Jin Se-yeon exchanged silent glances. Soon Jin Se-yeon's mental transmission rang in Kim Ha-jin's head. "We should probably let this person watch us. I don't sense any hostility. We should act normal." Kim Ha-jin nodded. Jin Se-yeon smiled brightly. "By the way, everyone's raising a sponsored character with DP, right?" The DP system was granted to anyone who hunted demonic monsters even once. Those who earned more than 50,000 DP could play a minigame,
sponsoring people of Lilos, which was growing in popularity. Of course, you'll be surprised who I'm sponsoring, Yu Yun-ha said proudly. Oh, really? Show me. With a grin, Yu Yun-ha displayed her sponsored character, a high-ranked knight named Gemidos. Wow, Gemidos the Berserker. He was yours? The Lilos community is full of praise for him. Lilos what? Kim Hajin asked, surprised. He hadn't known there was an online community for Lilos sponsors, already with over 200,000 members. There's a post every time Gemidos buys new armor or weapons. Didn't he buy the Black Flame Dragon armor recently?
Well, I don't want to brag. So what about you? Yu Yenha shrugged and changed the subject. I'm raising an archer. Look! Jin Seon's Laosian was an intermediate rank archer named Lekio. Yu Yenha and Jin Se-chan looked at him with interest. That bow looks like it's made from Ematos ore. Ah, his armor is quality leather too. While they talked, Kim Hajin checked on his retainer, Litrain. Litrain became the youngest master rank knight, earning the title Starlight Knight. Even after becoming a Knight Order commander, she kept training. The once small extra temple now had over 1,000 daily visitors. Dozens of apprentice knights served under her, drawn by her charisma. The Starlight Knights, her order, became one of the kingdom's strongest. But Litrain was worried. Her disciples and followers were growing suspicious of Extranim, knowing over a year had passed since he last sponsored her. Litrain had grown tremendously. Kim Hajin had earned over 200,000 DP from her, a third of which he sent back. "Who are you sponsoring, Hajin-si? Show us," Jin Seon asked. Kim Hajin hesitated. "Well, it's her." He casually displayed Litrain's information. The other's jaws dropped. "Wait, Litrain, she's famous in the community. My Gimitas." Soon, Yu Yenha's jealous voice rang out. Meanwhile, Larage watched them from a distance. Seeing far was her specialty, so she easily followed their movements. She stared at Kim Hajin carefully. He knew her name, and he didn't say it carelessly. Larage could discern someone's state from their voice. "What are you up to, Duchess?" her henchman Corte asked. "Bored. Being here alone is boring. Did you get in touch with those old devils?" "Yes, 3 devils obtained incarnation bodies. Rank 3 devil Prince Visago, rank 29 devil Count Astaroth, and rank 62 devil Valak." Larage frowned. "Old man hasn't escaped his curse yet?" She meant Ball. Corte smiled and shook his head. "No, King Ball has escaped the curse. The gate of the demon realm will open soon, so his descent isn't far. How long will it take? 3 months, not a day more."
3 months. Too long for Larage. If she got too bored, she might wander outside, risking her identity. Corte wanted to avoid that, so he took out an electronic device. What's that? It's called a game console. Humans use it for entertainment. With this, you'll never be bored. Is that so? Larage showed interest. Corte knelt and offered the virtual reality console. How do I use it? Just wear the helmet and turn the game on with your fingers. Larage did as told. Her vision turned black, then a blue screen appeared. She felt as if she'd entered another world. "I will explain how to use this console. Please do as I say." A message popped up. Larage furrowed her brows. "Who are you to tell me what to do? Try moving your fingers." "I don't want to. Introduce yourself first." "Try moving your fingers." Impudent. She moved her fingers, intending to destroy the impudent being. But the world changed. The blue room became a vast grassland. Larage's eyes widened. Here is a list of popular games. Click on the one you want to play. 1. Gladiator of the Century. 2. Realesque. 3. Grand Theft Auto. She clicked on Gladiator of the Century. You already own the game. Accessing Gladiator of the Century. Welcome to the world of Gladiator of the Century. Please set your ID. Your ID will be your name inside Gladiator of the Century. You are kind, unlike the one before. Laraje nodded and wrote her ID. Li Zhengyi. It was a typo, but she didn't notice. Welcome, Li Zhengyi. Now, Li Zhengyi, Laraje glared at the machine for calling her the wrong name. Next up, and Central Asia's black horse of the tournament, Jin Sa-hyuk. Seoul's Hero Plaza. Chae Na-yoon and Jin Sa-hyuk were on the same team, entering the maze side by side. Screw off! Chae Na-yoon had no intention of working with Jin Sa-hyuk and bolted in the opposite direction. Running randomly in a maze wasn't recommended, but Chae Na-yoon's intuition gave her an edge. She believed she'd find the exit soon. But Jin Sa-hyuk had other plans. She activated reality manipulation, her magic power changing the maze's structure. Geek, geek! The exit disappeared. Chae Na-yoon, unaware, thought the shifting maze was part of the trial. She really is an idiot, Jin Sa-hyuk smeared. Now, Chae Na-yoon couldn't find the exit no matter what. Jin Sa-hyuk just had to wait until she got tired and came back. Plop. Jin Sa-hyuk sat down and sent mental transmissions to Belle to pass the time. Central Asia. The carriage sped through Central Asia. Jin Se-yeon, Yu Yeon-ha, and Jin Se-chun watched Lee Train's progress, exclaiming over her beauty, strength, and kindness. By the time they fell asleep, they were avid fans. After 3 to 4 hours, the carriage reached China. The safe zone wasn't far, but we stayed alert. The gaze is gone, Jin Se-yeon said. Yeah, I nodded. Clack, clack. The carriage moved peacefully. I turned to Jin Se-yeon. She looked at me, clearly sensing the unusual presence approaching. Yohanashi, we should get ready for battle. Yu Yeon-ha was startled, but soon took out her whip. Jin Se-yeon said, We are surrounded. There's no way to break through. Rather than being ambushed, we should go out and face them. I agree. It would be troublesome if the carriage was destroyed. I opened the door and stepped outside. Jin Se-yeon, Yu Yeon-ha, and Jin Se-chun followed me. Instantly, hostility and killing intent filled the air. Wind carrying demonic energy blew, and the enemy drew closer. Don't worry, we'll win for sure. I'm 100% certain, Jin Se-yeon said, calming Yu Yeon-ha as she drew her bow. I took out my Desert Eagle. Whoa! Demonic energy filled the air. A giant storm brewed as a shooting star shot down from the sky. Quang! The shooting star landed ahead of us. It was a living being. Ha! How are you all doing on this fine day? I knew who he was. The mask covering half his face made it obvious. It was Destruction. But he wasn't alone. Dozens of djinns appeared, surrounding us. Ha ha! Destruction laughed. Yu Yeon-ha glared at him, clenching her teeth. It's been a while, Yu Jingwung's daughter. You know him? Jin Se-yeon asked. A little. He lost to my father back in the day. Pardon? He went crazy from his inferiority complex and lost half his face to my father. Destruction's face twisted in rage. He glared at Yu Yeon-ha. It seems the daughter is just as trashy as the father. He stepped forward, grinning. The djinns released their demonic energy, transforming into devil-like forms. Destruction's subordinates were all skilled in devil transformation. Where's the dimensional entropy? Inside the carriage? I'll let you die peacefully if you hand it over. Yu Yeon-ha shook her head. Destruction frowned. Trust me, if you hand it over, I'll chop off your heads cleanly and send you mostly intact to your beloved father. Otherwise, shut up, your breath stinks. Destruction's expression turned ugly. I transformed the Desert Eagle into a machine gun.
Destruction sighed, scratching his head with long, blackening nails, another sign of devil transformation. Looks like I'll have to go back on my word. A giant horn protruded from his head, his body turning black with demonic energy. He bent like a runner at the starting line, then shot forward. Or tried to. Stop! A clear, childlike voice rang from the sky. Shackles of magic power bound destruction. Not just him, the entire world seemed to freeze. Destruction's subordinates and even the wind stopped. Ka-ook-ook! Destruction turned desperately toward the voice. A small person floated 10 meters above the ground. Her symbolic white hair shone. Her proud, sharp eyes glared at destruction. The hero who defined a generation had arrived. "Why did you come so late?" Jin Seon looked up and smiled. "I came as quickly as I could. You told me to come secretly. I'm the chairman of the Temple of Justice. You think it's easy to leave work without anyone knowing?" Eileen grumbled, hopping down from her cloud. "Ta-dat!" She landed lightly inside the area frozen by her word. "Look at all the trash here," she sneered. Yu Yanha snapped out of her daze and glanced at Jin Se-yeon for an explanation. Jin Se-yeon smiled and whispered, "I told you, we're going to win for sure. I secretly asked for backup." Kuh! Destruction resisted Eileen's spirit speech with all his might. He twisted his neck and muttered in rage, "You are a... Shut your mouth!" Eileen's words muted destruction, but his eyes still burned with killing intent. Eileen furrowed her brows. "You're annoying! Just get crushed!" A short exclamation rang out. That was enough. Wak! Destruction's body folded in on itself and then exploded. That was the end. We stared in a daze. Eileen was far more powerful than when we saw her in the Tower of Wish, or even during the fight against Orden. She was almost at the level of a transcendent. Just what happened? Phew! Impressed? I got an amazing, unique skill at the Tower of Wish. This is nothing now.
Eileen strutted, looking around. The Jin leader was dead, but the rest couldn't move under her spirit speech. Eileen ignored them and approached Jin Se-yeon. "Anyway, why are you here?" "Yes? About that." Jin Se-yeon scratched her neck, then placed a hand on Yu Yun-ha's shoulder. "Let me introduce her first. This is Yu Yun-ha, the chief officer of my guild." "Chief officer? What do you mean? You're not in a..." Eileen's eyes widened. "Wait, you mean..." Yu Yun-ha was the first to realize what Jin Se-yeon meant. This was Jin Se-yeon's response to the offer she made long ago. Yu Yun-ha looked at Jin Se-yeon, then at Eileen, then at me. "Yes!" Then she jumped up excitedly. Chapter 309. Seoul, Korea. Maze at the Hero Plaza. After 3 hours, Chae Na-yoon realized something was wrong. Her intuition told her this maze had no exit. But how could that be? This test was supposed to select 200 challengers for the Gate of Glory. Still, Chae Na-yoon explored the maze for 2 more hours to confirm her suspicion. Meanwhile, Jin Sayuk grew increasingly tired as she watched Chae Na-yoon wander back and forth. She thought Chae Na-yoon would give up soon, but she was wrong. Chae Na-yoon's tenacity was beyond her imagination. Jin Sayuk sighed and stood up, ready to intervene in Chae Na-yoon's wandering. It was then, "Sayuk." A voice echoed in her ears, freezing her thoughts. Jin Sayuk's eyes widened as she turned toward the source. "Belle, you bastard!" Was it because they'd been apart for so long? Jin Sayuk leapt at Belle with an excessive amount of joy. She reached out and grabbed Belle by the collar, even though he was in his gaseous state. Belle smiled as he looked down at her grip. "Where have you been?" Belle put a finger to his lips. "Shh! Are you crazy?" "Hey, keep it down. I'm only here because it looked like you were about to be eliminated from the tournament." "Eliminated my ass!"
You've accomplished nothing in the last 6 hours. Don't you want to enter the gate of the demon realm? Is there a reason I should enter? Jin Sayuk replied flatly. She was here because she wanted to enter the gate, but she felt the urge to rebel since Belle annoyed her. Belle smiled, thinking Jin Sayuk was cute. Of course you do. You have to kill me inside the gate. What? Jin Sayuk's face stiffened, but Belle looked as relaxed as ever. I know you already heard most of what you needed from Kim Hajin. Jin Sayuk stayed silent as Belle finally began to take form. He reached out and placed a hand on her shoulder. Please continue to work hard. I believe in you, Sayuk. Belle's voice, now clearer than before, lingered in her ears. I've repeated the past countless times and finally found you. Jin Sayuk looked at Belle, unable to understand the firm trust and earnest hope in his eyes. My death. Belle placed his hand on Jin Sayuk's head, recalling the first time they met. Back then, she was so small they couldn't see eye to eye even when Belle bent over. Now, she was an adult. You can do it, right? A broad smile spread across Belle's face. Staring at his beaming smile, Jin Sayuk nodded. If that's what you want, of course I'll kill you. Jin Sayuk was full of confidence. Death seemed like a fitting gift for the frenemy she'd known for about 20 years. The end is finally near. But Jin Sayuk suddenly gave a wry smile. I have one condition. She had one last question, one thing she needed to know before she killed Belle. Do you know what synchronization is? East Asia. Eileen didn't ask much. She seemed confused about why we couldn't use portals or skills, but she still provided us with top-grade protection. Are you sure you can leave for this long? I'll take this as a vacation. I've been so busy lately that I was starting to get annoyed, honestly. Eileen shrugged at Che Nayun's question. And this is the first time I've ever been in a carriage. Oh, right. What are you going to do with the carriage? If you're going to throw it away, can I keep it? Huh? Ah, of course. You can keep it, Eileen SC. Really? Oh, wow. Thanks. Eileen beamed. Calm. But her smile quickly faded as she looked at me and Yuhenna with her usual expression. Anyway, I won't ask what you did. I'm sure you were careful not to get involved in anything illegal. Of course. Yuhenna nodded and suddenly pointed outside the window. Ah, it's Pyongan Island. We all sat up straight like meerkats. As she said, I could see the Korean border in the distance. Yuhenna didn't bother to hide her joy, and I sent a text to Boss with my smartwatch now that reception was back. Boss, I've completed the mission. The reply came quickly. Good job. Rest well. At that moment, clunk! The carriage stopped, and San Yuri started to throw a tantrum, startled by the border guards approaching with guns and swords. I'll deal with them. Yuhenna was the first to step out. Who are you? One of the guards asked. But when they saw Yuhenna, they all immediately bowed 90 degrees and escorted us back to the mainland. Later, Yuhenna dragged me to the Essential Dynamics Non-Divisional Unit in South Pyongan Province. The base was larger than most universities. Yuhenna had been preparing it since she first heard of dimensional entropy. This is where we'll open dimensional entropy. Right now, there were only 4 of us inside the enormous base. And this is the Celestial Extractor, the culmination of magic engineering that will activate dimensional entropy. Yuhenna walked towards a large machine, Titanium case in hand. At the center of the machine was the energy heart, a place to lay a crystal or magic ore. Circular machinery revolved around the heart, resembling the solar system. We stared at the magnificent sight in awe. Even Yuhenna, the architect, seemed fascinated. The energy extracted using this machine could be used for bullets, artillery shells, engines, barriers, power, everything. Essence of the Strait will take humanity to the next level. We'll be able to stand against any and all possible threats from now on." The energy glowed green. I stared a bit longer at the miniature solar system before turning away with a small smile. Yuhenna looked at me, slightly confused. "Are you leaving?" "Yeah, I'm busy. I had to deliver the last dress to Medea, who was waiting for me in the Tower of Wish. I also had to visit Yvandel as promised." "Sure. Thanks again for your hard work. You can always come back if anything happens. Just remember to send me those shares," I said and turned to Jinsei-yan and Jinsei-chan. "Do you plan on joining Essence of the Strait, Jinsei-an-nim?" Jinsei-yan gave a broad smile. "Yes, it's finally time for me to start considering politics." I smiled in silence. Next was Jinsei-chan, but I didn't have much to say to him. When he noticed I was looking at him, he bowed first. "It was all thanks to you that I survived. Thank you." No, thank you for your hard work." With that, the mission ended for good. "I'm leaving now. Take care." "Yes, see you later." I said goodbye to Yuhenna and left the base. Then I immediately headed to Yvandel's forest with Spartan, who had completely healed. Yvandel and Hyang's cabin. One word had been added to the adorable doorplate. I opened the cabin door without knocking. "Yvandel." Yvandel, who was playing house with Hyang in the living room, widened her eyes. She stared at me in a daze, then suddenly dropped her doll on the floor and, "Hajin!" With a radiant smile, she jumped into my arms. 11 p.m. I lay in bed with Yvandel as I surfed the web. The second preliminary round for the Gate of Glory has ended. What lies beyond the Gate of Glory?
The road ahead for Korea. Che Juchul's speech receives a standing ovation. The internet was filled with news about the Gate of Glory. There was excitement, but no panic, probably because the association had changed the name from Gate of the Demon Realm to Gate of Glory. Suddenly, I saw the virtual reality helmet lying on the floor. I'd brought it because I thought Yvandel might be interested. Yvandel was asleep, and I was bored. I reached for the helmet. Scan. Scan was a must. I checked that the helmet had been enhanced by 59% before putting it on. Jing. The boot up usually took about 2 minutes, but with the enhancement, it only took 10 seconds. I looked over the list of games. Popular games. 1. Gladiator of the Century. 2. Real-esque. 3. Grand Theft Auto. Gladiator of the Century caught my eye. Che Ne-yoon had asked me to play it with her before, so I figured I should get some practice. Purchasing Gladiator of the Century. Purchase complete. Accessing Gladiator of the Century. Welcome to the world of Gladiator of the Century. Please set your ID. My username was always the same. Extra7. Your username is Extra7. Welcome. Would you like to view the tutorial? No. I skipped the tutorial. The first thing I did was check the current rankings list. Games were always more fun with skilled players. Current rankings. 1. Frelo, 161 matches, 130 wins, 31 losses. 2. British Spirit, 146 matches, 121 wins, 25 losses. 3. Li Jiang, 170 matches, 70 wins. 4. Wolf, 150 matches, 103 wins, 47 losses. Let's see. I first sent a goodwill match request to the number 1 player. Failed to send a goodwill match request to Frelo. This user has chosen to decline goodwill match requests from strangers. All right. Most rankers declined match requests from non-friends. If they didn't, newbies would pester them constantly. Should I just play ranked games, I thought? Then I noticed Li Jiang. She was the only ranker who didn't have automatically declined goodwill match request turned on. 70 matches and 70 wins. She looked strong.
After a moment of hesitation, I sent the request. You have sent a goodwill match request to Li Jiang. Li Jiang has accepted your goodwill match request. Oh. The moment Li Jiang accepted, my body was transferred to an arena. Map. Gladiators Coliseum. Dust and the cries of the crowd filled the arena. My opponent stood on the other side of the Coliseum. The sword she held was so short it almost looked like a dagger. After some thought, I chose a baseball bat as my weapon. You have chosen baseball bat, a beginner's weapon. 3, 2, 1, begin. The duel began. Tat! I ran at Li Jiang with the baseball bat and swung as hard as I could. Whish! Li Jiang tried to evade, but I relentlessly swung my bat. Quadruple baseball bat swing! I shouted. Whoosh! 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 My bat moved back and forth 4 times, and that was it. Kya! Li Jiang died, unable to withstand my attack. What the... It made sense once I thought about it. My console had been enhanced by 59%, so my character was alone in an accelerated world. I was basically using a speed hack. This is bad. I should probably turn off random consolidation system. It trivializes the whole game. I thought as I was about to turn the game off. Li Jiang has requested you for a rematch. I received a match request from Li Jiang. I accepted, but the result was the same. Quadruple baseball bat swing. Kya! KO. Winner, extra 7. Again, the match ended in less than 3 minutes. But Li Jiang was persistent. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-3 rematch. Someone's competitive. I accepted her request. I was transferred to the Coliseum again. I jumped at her and swung my bat. Li Jiang fell, but immediately asked for a rematch. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-3 rematch. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-3 rematch. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-5 rematch. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-5 rematch. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-7 rematch. I was still invincible after 50 rounds, and Li Jiang kept sending rematch requests. Li Jiang has requested you for a best-of-9 rematch. Let's not. I thought best-of-9 was just excessive when I received a text from Jin Sayuk. Kim Hajin, where are you? Let's meet. I declined your rematch and typed a reply to Jin Sayuk. You have declined Li Jiang's rematch request. Li Jiang has sent you a message. What's wrong with her? Why did you decline my request, extra 7? You're the strongest human I've ever met. Accept my request. Don't decline my request. Is she crazy? Accept my request right this moment. I haven't lost completely yet. Answer me. Don't test my patience. Don't make me wait. I took off the helmet without replying. It was then. Wish. I received a signal from the Tower of Wish. It came from Tomer's crystal ball, which I had stored inside my stigma. Tower of Wish, 8F, Kreven. After spending time with Ivendell, I returned to Kreven with Jin Sayuk, who had contacted me yesterday. Why did we come here again? Jin Sayuk asked as we walked down the hallway of Tomer's mansion. I think Tomer wants to talk to me about something. While I was here, I also planned to deliver the finished robe to Medea. Ah, why did you text me yesterday? Jin Sayuk leered at me. You said you would stay by my side for half a year. It hasn't been half a year yet. Yeah? Startled that Jin Sayuk had been keeping track, I quickened my pace and arrived at Tomer's office. Tock, tock. Tomer answered as soon as I knocked. Come in. I opened the door and entered. Geek! The wooden door swung open with a screech. Tomer sat alone in a chair in an office more modest than I remembered. Well, if it isn't the former Knight Commander. She's with me. Is that okay? Yeah. Sit down, Tomer said, pointing to a chair. I sat down. So what? Why did you call me? Ah. Tomer's face stiffened at my question. She looked at me, then at Jin Sayuk, and spoke in a low voice. I wanted to talk to you about descent, and also about the prophecy. Prophecy? Yeah. It comes from the administrator of Kreven. Tomer showed me a piece of paper. Only 2 sentences were written on it. An enormous calamity shall descend upon the outside world. The inside and the outside must unite as one in order to overcome this ordeal. My eyes widened. The corner of Tomer's mouth lifted. The Queen wants to speak to you about the prophecy. Queen? You mean Araha? Hey, watch your mouth. Tomer frowned. I smiled bitterly and rephrased my question. What does Her Majesty wish to discuss with me? The second sentence sounds tricky. The part about the inside and the outside must unite as one. The inside and the outside must unite as one. It was a simple sentence, and an idea crossed my mind. Temporary descent of everyone from the Tower of Wish to fight against the devil and the demon realm transformation.
Yeah, I get that, but why did the Queen pick me? I'm not really famous here. How should I know? But listen carefully. Araha is a tyrant. Araha? Are you sure you can call the Queen by her name? I'm allowed, Tomer replied, taking out a pen. Now, listen carefully, because I'm about to tell you the do's and don'ts. Chapter 310. Araha hates black clothes. She also hates arrogant people and hates being ignored even more. She has an inferiority complex because she wasn't the first in line to become king. The reason Araha is calling you should have something to do with prestige. Your prestigious master, after all. I don't know what Araha thinks about the prophecy. I assume it's a mix of interest and displeasure. After receiving Tomer's advice, we went to the royal palace, which was several times bigger and grander than the last time I had seen it. By the way, Jin Sayuk, did I kill you once or twice? Before going in, I asked Jin Sayuk. Her pride seemed to have been hurt, as she frowned without replying. I'm not making fun of you. I'm asking how many skill slots you have left. 5. 5? 3 basic and 2 special? You didn't learn any? You're more prudent than I thought. Well, you'll be learning some today. The royal palace should have a few buff-type passive skills. I'd be surprised if the royal palace's vault had nothing of the sort. No, I don't need any. But to my surprise, Jin Sayuk shook her head and grumbled. I can't learn ultimate skills and unique skills because of you. I don't need other trash skills. What? No. Now that Jin Sayuk is becoming more and more redeemable, it was important for me to strengthen her. Synthesized basic skills and special skills that take up 2 slots are worth learning. We'll have to look through the vault to see what's available, though. What the hell does that mean? It's fine if you don't understand. Let's just go in. Jin Sayuk and I entered the palace. Once we showed our royal invitation letter to a guard, a knight came down to greet us. My name is Wilhelm Tell. Follow me. Her Royal Highness is waiting. Wilhelm Tell. He wasn't all that famous in modern Earth, but his story remained as a small legend. We followed Wilhelm past a huge garden. Countless knights were lined up along the hallway we walked through. I wasn't sure if they were there to greet us or threaten us. Go in. Eventually, we arrived in front of a well-decorated door. Yes. I turned the doorknob and slowly pushed the door open. The door opened smoothly, and I could see Araha sitting at the head of a long rectangular table. Once the door fully opened, Araha smiled. Standing next to her were Lancelot and Lu Bu. Welcome, Master of Prestige and former Knight Commander Shin Jayuk. We are humbled to be in your audience.
I greeted her the way I learned from Tomer. Jin Sayuk, on the other hand, simply nodded her head. It seemed to be a matter of pride. After all, she was a former king. I see you haven't changed, Knight Commander. Please, sit. Araha didn't seem to mind Jin Sayuk's attitude as she guided us to our seats. I tilted my head at Araha's reaction. The impression I was getting from her was different than Tomer taught me. Hajin si. Then a woman who was sitting near Araha called my name, a knight with blonde hair and sparkling eyes. She was someone I knew well. Rachel. Rachel and I exchanged curious glances. You two know each other? A smile of interest emerged on Araha's face. Rachel looked back and forth between me and Jin Sayuk before asking with a gulp. How did... Jin Sayuk, Knight Commander Shinjayuk, came as my companion. Her Royal Highness called us here. Please, sit. Or do you plan to keep me waiting? Araha interrupted us with a cheery voice. Yes. Jin Sayuk and I sat down. Rachel still looked confused, and Araha clapped her hands, still smiling. Immediately, several servants walked into the room with plates of food. Go ahead. I heard there's a saying in your world that one should fill their stomach before enjoying the mountain view. With that, we began to eat. I munched on a crab king's leg, and Jin Sayuk sliced a premium steak. Araha asked, You've heard about the prophecy from Margrave Tomer, correct? Yes. I've called you to talk about that. We discovered a pathway that leads to your world, Earth. My eyes immediately widened. Araha continued slowly as she munched on a piece of escargot. But this pathway is in a dangerous place, and a huge amount of energy is needed to open it. Krevon isn't capable of providing this energy. Energy shouldn't be a problem, since the entropy was in our hands. I should be able to take care of the energy. Where is the pathway? Araha stared at me fixedly, before letting out a deep sigh. The 9th floor. Pardon? The pathway to the outside world. Araha paused. After collecting her breath, she muttered in a heavier voice, is deep inside the 9th floor, filled with mythical monsters. Desolate Moon Guild Building, Vice Leader Shin Jong-hok's office. Desolate Moon's newly appointed vice leader, Shin Jong-hok the Conqueror, was decorating his office. He placed his spear, which was the main reason he was granted the title Conqueror, on a shelf, and placed a sculpture of himself he was gifted a long time ago next to it. Ha ha ha! Just looking at the sculpture brightened his mood. It suited the interior design of the office and was perfect to represent the hero Shin Jong-hok, at least in his eyes. Ha! Shin Jong-hok, who was wearing a satisfied smile, suddenly furrowed his brows. He had remembered it was Kim Hajin who sculpted this. That guy. Why don't I ever know where he is? Shin Jong-hok clicked his tongue and sat down on his office chair and opened the newspaper. The first, second, and third pages were all about the Gate of Glory. Third round of selections begins for the Gate of Glory. Rising star Chae Na-yun, Kim Suho the Sword Saint, Shin Jong-hok the Conqueror included. Norwegian hero Bjorn Moy steps up to the challenge. High intermediate rank hero Light Wealthson fails in second round. Vice leader, there's news. Whoa! A loud shout broke out as Shin Jong-hok was reading. Startled, Shin Jong-hok ripped the newspaper. Looking at the torn newspaper in his hands, he sighed. What is it? I'll send it over right now. Shin Jong-hok received the news on his computer. It was related to Essence of the Strait. Breaking news. Master rank hero, the divine archer Jin Se-on joins Essence of the Strait. Essence of the Strait stock skyrocket, up 19% in 5 minutes. Puh! Shin Jong-hok broke out into laughter while reading the news report. Jin Se-on joining Essence of the Strait was certainly a shocking piece of news. considering how long she had remained independent. But it was nice to see Yuan Ah doing so well, her longtime friend. Although he wasn't happy that Essence of the Strait was so far ahead of Desolid Moon, he knew Yuan Ah was no match for him in terms of battle prowess. Shin Jong-hak continued to read with a pleased smile. Then his gaze unconsciously turned to the frame next to his monitor. Inside the fist-sized frame was the young Shin Jong-hak and his grandfather Shin Ming-chul, both smiling happily.
Shin Jong-hak picked up the frame with a sigh. Shin Myung-chul, the brightest of the 9 stars, and the man whose name will be forever recorded in history. Even as his grandson, Shin Jong-hak couldn't understand why Shin Myung-chul sacrificed himself. Wasn't his life worth more than the lives of a few million ordinary people? Didn't he know that? Or did he sacrifice himself regardless? Grandfather. Shin Jong-hak recalled an old memory. In it, he was crying in the arms of his grandfather. At the time, just being by his side consoled him. Shin Jong-hak was prouder of him than anyone else and considered him the eternal hero of humanity. Shin Jong-hak muttered bitterly as he looked at his young self in the frame. I still resent you. On the other hand, inside the Essence of the Strait Guild building, now being flooded with calls, Yu Yan-ha summoned Che Na-yun, who was one of Essence of the Strait's most famous heroes. Che Na-yun shouted as soon as she entered Yu Yan-ha's office. Is it true? Jin Se-yan Hero Nim is joining our guild? Her voice resounded loudly. Yu Yan-ha grinned and nodded her head. Wow! Che Na-yun's jaw dropped. It was an understandable reaction, as most Master Rank heroes who weren't guild leaders themselves rarely stayed in guilds. Jin Se-yan joining Essence of the Strait was truly a piece of news worthy of all the buzz. But that wasn't all that was surprising. Anyways, Na-yun? Yu Yan-ha smiled lightly and took out the balmung Hajin gave her. Che Na-yun tilted her head. Take it. What's this, a baseball bat? Her reaction was to be expected. Balmung apparently looked like a long stick more than anything else. This artifact is perfect for you. This? What? Is it the stone club Beowulf used? No, just try holding it. Yu Yan-ha wanted to surprise Che Na-yun, so she gave balmung to her without an explanation, and Che Na-yun held it with keen interest. In that moment, whoosh! Yu Yan-ha formed a small whip with her magic power and made a small cut on Che Na-yun's arm. Ow! Blood flowed from the cut, and Che Na-yun turned to Yu Yan-ha. Tick, tick. Blood seeped into the stone sword. What was that for? Che Na-yun eyed Yu Yan-ha angrily. Just watch. I'm bleeding, jeez. Right. Yu Yan-ha shrugged. 500 milliliters of blood was necessary to awaken balmung, so she had no choice but to make the cut a little deep. Right? Look at my arm. It's bleeding a lot. Look at what's in your hand. Hearing this, Che Na-yun looked down, seething. Che Na-yun's body shook. The stone lump in her hand was sucking in her blood. Hey, what's... She didn't have the time to ask. Once balmung absorbed enough blood, it emitted a bright light. Yu Yan-ha and Che Na-yun instinctively clad themselves in key reinforcement. Gwah! The erupting light soon seeped back into the stone. Aho? Silence descended in the room. Che Na-yun let out a short sound. The lump of stone in her hand had transformed into a sword. Navy blue blade and a golden hilt. Just like in the myth of Siegfried, both light and darkness coexisted in the 1.8-meter-long greatsword. Yu Yan-ha looked at it and said, That's balmung. This, holy... Then, Yu Yan-ha took out a document from her drawer. It was a contract for permanent lease of the weapon. You want it, right? You can have it if you sign here. Oh, yeah, of course. When Yu Yan-ha showed her the contract, Che Na-yun signed it without even giving it a brief glance. What's happening? Then, Yu Yan-ha's office door burst open. Heroes who detected balmung's magic power rushed inside. But once they saw that both Yu Yan-ha and Che Na-yun were safe, their gaze turned to the only odd object in the room.
Wow! The Balmung, a weapon of many legends. Yu Yanha smiled at the dazed heroes and gave them an explanation. This is Balmung. Our major shareholder, XJHIM, lent it to us. XJHIM was short for Extra Hajin. His name was well known as a major shareholder of Essence of the Strait, though no one knew his real identity. Cool, right? Feel free to take pictures and brag about it to your friends. A guild having such a valuable weapon boosted its image. Even after hearing Yu Yanha's explanation, the heroes continued to stare at Balmung blankly. Tower of Wish, 8th floor, Krevon. Rain was falling in Krevon. I was sitting in the royal palace reception room, deep in thought. Araha said that the pathway was on the 9th floor. I didn't know whether or not she was telling the truth, but I could probably just leave the chameleon troupe to take care of it. After all, Chakjung Yang was always itching for a fight. Why haven't you responded to my messages? Then I heard Rachel's voice from nearby. She was talking to Jin Seok. Do I have a reason to? Jin Seok answered. I see. Rachel nodded her head, without even the slightest change in her expression, but anyone could tell that she was hurt by the blunt response. Hajinshi? Yes. I turned to Rachel with a smile, and Rachel also put on a smile and nodded. It's been a while. Ah, yes. Meanwhile, Jin Seok looked back and forth between me and Rachel. Feeling her gaze, Rachel also turned to Jin Seok. Just like that, a silent battle began between the two. What's that? Looking around the room, I found a pool table in the corner. From what I heard, all sorts of sports spread by players were trending in Krevon. Do you guys want to play some pool? Huh? Pool? Rachel's eyes suddenly brightened. I'd be happy to. Are you good, Hajin-shi? It's hard for me to be bad at it, I guess. I have young dwarf's dexterity, after all. Puh! But Rachel suddenly snorted. It was the first time I was seeing her sneer. It must have come out subconsciously, as she immediately fixed her expression. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm quite good at pool. I even won a tournament. Ah, I see. I nodded thoughtlessly at Rachel's proud comment, but that ended up triggering Jin Seok's competitive spirit. What pool are you talking about? English billiards, straight pool, carom, 8-ball, it doesn't matter to me. Yeah? Then let's go with carom. Sure. Rachel was full of confidence, which Jin Seok seems of hate. Jin Seok stomped towards the pool table and grabbed a cue. Rachel also grabbed one with a grin. Shall we begin? It's a bit boring if we're not betting on something. What should we bet on? A bet? What about a wish? Good. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. But just as the match was about to begin, I was contacted by Spartan, who was outside the Tower of Wish. Yujin Hick messaged that his investigation of Yi Young-won is complete. Yi Young-won seems to be up to something. It doesn't seem urgent. Currently on the lookout. I got up to return to Earth the moment I received Spartan's thoughts. I'm leaving now. You guys have fun. Huh? Where are you going? She's right. Come, Hajin, you're playing too. But Rachel and Jin Seok grabbed me simultaneously. She even handed me a cue. Don't run away. You're playing for a wish too. Me too? Of course. Rachel and Jin Seok were ready to go all out. Okay. Since Spartan wasn't in a hurry, I agreed and decided to quickly stomp them and leave. Then I'll go first. I put some chalk on the Q-tip and got ready, but Jin Seok and Rachel weren't paying any attention to me at all. I'm curious how good you are, former Knight Commander. I'm curious too. Please, teach me. I don't know if you're good enough to be my disciple. Annoying me? Is that a tactic? Please, why would I need to stoop to such a level against a beginner? Little did they know, they wouldn't even have the chance to show off their skills. I'm going. I planned on ending it on turn 1.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.